Hi friends, it's Steph. Oh my gosh, I know I have such a mess right here, but I have been trying to work and get some things caught up. The time for teachers right before a holiday is so very busy, and we're getting ready for end of semester, and so just a lot of paperwork and stuff to be done. So it's been super busy during the day. So I haven't gotten much accomplished, but as you can see, I've got the couch pieces. Now, I did take the couch pieces I already had, and I took that awful fabric off because there was nothing wrong with the base pieces of this couch. And you can see, guys, I have some more fabric. I thought this was great fabric, and you might wonder, oh, Steph, did you go buy fabric? I absolutely did not, y'all. I swiped, shh, don't tell him, one of my husband's old sweaters. And y'all, it works perfect. It's got some puppy dog hairs on it, but it works fabulously. It was just the texture and color I wanted for a couch, so I was like, I'm going to cut that up. Now, this is an old sweater. My husband used to be a very big guy, and he's a very small guy now, so he couldn't fit this sweater anyway. And I want to show you something. So I did make a chair. Here's my little chair. It's kind of a hot mess. First chair I've ever made, and I kind of was winging it. Y'all know how I do. I don't like to measure, so I feel like my side pieces are just a little tall. I probably would have cut them about a ½ inch shorter if I had thought about it. But you know what? The chair's done. It's going to be back here in the back. But I'll tell you a little bit more in just a second how I made this, because I wanted to finish the sofa with you guys today, but I wanted to share with you something. So what I covered that chair with was some of the Dollar Tree fabric. It is horribly see-through, but y'all know I sit and I think about things, and I'm like, oh, my little light bulb goes off every time. And so what I did, because y'all know I sew, so I interfaced this fabric. Look how much better that is. You cannot see through it. You can't see anything through that, right? I mean, you can see shadows to it, but nothing like it was. I mean, it was just completely see-through before. This not only gives it some body to it and makes it much easier to use, not see-through, but it also keeps the edges from fraying because you've bonded that interfacing to the fabric. Now, let me show you what interfacing actually is. It looks like fabric. You can see it's kind of see-through. This is called SF101, and I will show you what it is in a link below. I get mine from Joann's. Now, I buy it by the bolt, but you can purchase it like at Walmart or even at Joann's in small packages for like $3. So it's not very expensive. And so, again, I try to make sure that we're not spending a whole ton of money on this project and that everything's accessible to everybody. So you can purchase this at Walmart and at Joann's. Now, I'm not sure. I'm sure you could get it at Hobby Lobby, but I'm not sure about Michael's or other craft stores. If they have some sewing notions there or quilting stuff, then you might be able to get it. It is smooth on one side, just like fabric. And on this side, I don't think I'll be able to show you, but there's like little glue bumps all over it. Make sure that when you're utilizing this, that the bumpy side is down on your fabric. Otherwise, you will ruin your iron. Because it is glue, and that's what it's doing. It's fusing this to your fabric. And so this is basically what it looks like. This is part of that sweater. This is where I've gotten the fusible. Now, I've been cutting off of this, so that's why it just looks like a little baby piece. This part, you see how floppy that side is without it. This side with it has much more body, works very well. So when you're looking for fabrics to make furniture, rugs, anything like that, look through what you have in your closet. If you have old clothes, if you have old sheets, an old blanket, old baby blankets, anything like that can work. I wouldn't get any kind of sweater that's too, what's the word I'm thinking of? Too many, too big of spaces in between your weaves. This one's a good one because it's very tight woven and looks like couch fabric. So be careful of what you choose to do, but if you just want to practice, just use something old that you have already. If you have an old t-shirt, use that. And if you interface it, no matter what you use, even if it's a thinner fabric, it's going to work very well. So what I have done now, I did follow the tutorial on Spare to Square, and but I kind of modified it a little to fit my needs, because y'all know I don't like to measure, and I, of course, do not measure very well. What I'm going to do, though, because what I found was, and I can show you on the bottom of this little chair, the back is not very great. But what I did was I took a piece of cardstock and just covered it in the same fabric without any batting on it or anything. And it does very well at cleaning up those edges and such. So that's what I'm going to do on the backs of these. I'm just going to measure and cut a piece of cardstock and cover it with the same fabric. Now, I don't know if I'll use interfaced fabric for the cardstock because it's going to be pretty stiff, or not. So I'll see when I get to that point to decide what I'm going to do there. I'm going to take my clamps off because, you know, they do leave little marks, but those will work their way out after a bit. So I'm not going to stress about that. So I have done the bottom and the back, and it has left marks, but honestly, that's going to work its way out. It'll come on, you know, loosen up a little bit there. If not, I can steam it just a touch and it'll come out. So this is the back, this is the bottom, the base. So I'm not going to glue them together though until I get the bottoms covered. So, but the tops are nice, all one piece. You cannot see any edges of fabric, any edges of interfacing, or what is this? I cannot even think of what it's called, but batting, that's what it's called. It's called batting. So I have the sides of the couch here now, so I'm going to show you what I did. And you can see that I used the same one. This is where I ripped the fabric off. In fact, one of them, you can see I ripped the fabric off of those, and this piece actually has some of the fabric left, but that's going to be covered up, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I didn't want to waste, because batting is not cheap. I did not want to waste it. You could use for batting, you could use actual batting, cotton batting. It's, you know, not bad. You can buy a package of it, which is what I already had on hand. You can buy it by the yard. You could buy a half a yard. It's not very expensive that way, and just have it on hand. You could use an old towel. You could use, again, a blanket or a flannel shirt, anything that has just like a little softness to it that you can stack up and make it look cushiony. And it does perfect. So there's lots of options out there. You don't just have to use quilt batting or something. So here is what I did with this. So this is the top part. Now, if you're using this tacky glue, do not touch the tip of your glue to this batting, because no matter how clean you think it is, every time you lift your glue up, the fuzzies from this batting are going to be stuck to your glue, and I have just made a huge mess with it. So I have figured out if I just hold my glue up a little bit and just make, like I'm icing something, I guess, thin little lines here, that it works much better, because no matter how hard I was trying, I kept getting fuzzies on the bottom of my glue tip, and it's just a mess. So I'm going to push this down. Now this is the arms, or the sides, you know, of the couch. So I'm going to do this the same way that I did the back of the couch and the bottom of the couch, or the seat part of the couch. And I'm just going to pull these over, cover it up just enough, because I'm going to put a piece of cardstock with fabric over this just to clean it up. That way we don't have any messy edges or anything like that. And I'll show you how I do the sides too on it. I probably almost cut this one too short, but it's going to do okay. I really got to start measuring, y'all. I got to get over that phobia. All right, and you see, I just hold it down. It catches pretty good. This tacky glue, I just love it because it sets up really quickly. You want to make sure you have a nice smooth part that's going to be seen. You want that to look as nice as possible, okay? And I haven't decided, like on the arm part, I probably will put this side facing inside the couch just because it'll match the back and the bottom, and just look a little nicer. Now, what I've done, I have been covered in glue all day. So I do keep baby wipes at my table so that I can wipe my hands and get all the glue off of me, because I don't like to be gluey. Yucky. Okay. I know, I'm so ridiculous, aren't I? Where are my good scissors? Make sure that you have good sharp scissors if you're working with fabric, because, oh my gosh, you do not want to try to cut fabric with junky scissors. It will just, nothing will make you madder than that. I promise you. If you're just cutting fabric, you can, if you are a seamstress and you have dedicated fabric scissors, you can use those. I do not use my good sewing scissors because I don't want glue to get on them at all. So those are off limits. And y'all, my family knows not to touch my sewing scissors. Everybody knows. My poor daughter-in-law had to learn the hard way because she tried to use them one time. I was like, oh, no, 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 we don't use those scissors. So everybody learns very quickly not to use mom's sewing scissors for anything. All right. Oh, and a big old glob of dried up glue just came off on this. So I just squeeze some down in there. Push this down. It can get a little bulky, but use your little scissors. Y'all, I have these amazing little, these things are so sharp. They will stab you good. But they will cut, like I'll just show you right here. I can use these to cut out some of the bulk on that, and you see how well they cut. Even with this thick, bulky sweater fabric, they do very well. So I just cut a little piece off of there. That'll be fine. Takes out some of that bulk. Again, this is going to be covered, so we're not going to worry too much about it, guys. All right, so this side we're going to take in. I just tuck it in a little bit like you're wrapping a gift. I have enough glue, I think, right there to hold that in place. I'm going to try to avoid using the clamps on these because I really did not realize they would leave such big marks on those. But you can see they're kind of disappearing. I think over time they'll just go away. All right. While that is setting up, we'll get the other one. I'm not sure if this other piece I have, I'm going to have to interface some more, but I do have a little bit of bulk right here, so I'm going to cut that off. That's not going to be seen. It's going to be under the cardstock covered with fabric. So cut that little bit of bulk out. Just makes it a little neater. And again, y'all, this isn't to play with. This is just a look at, you know, kind of thing. So nobody's going to be messing with it. Nobody's going to be inspecting your work, guys. I know we are so hard on ourselves when we create, and it's always like, oh, this is just garbage. I hate this. And it's like, really, if you took the time to really look at it, you would see that, no, it's not garbage. It is just fine. All right, so I'm going to do cut another piece. I need to make sure that my thing is going in the same direction. Nope, I got to go this way, y'all. All right, so I'm going to cut this apart. Y'all eyeballing. I know, y'all. I know. I really should measure, but I don't want to. Measuring's so tedious, and I never get it right. Why don't I? I always have to measure when I'm sewing, and I do fine on that. But y'all, for some reason on this, measuring is just horrible to me. Glue everywhere. All right. This one's going to cover a little better than the other one, but I think I'm going to trim it down because I don't want that extra bulk. Let me see. Oh, no. I don't need to see. I almost cut, and I didn't need to. Then I would have been mad at myself, y'all. All right. Okay, and there's, y'all, glue everywhere. All right, and you see how quickly that tacky glue holds down really well. So all I've done here on these sides, I cut down on both sides, and then I just cut that part off because all it does is add bulk. So then I have like a little tab there. Okay, just kind of like wrapping a present, y'all. Cut that, cut these out. Okay, then we'll take it in and bring it up just like that. Okay, get my glue. Don't touch it Because that glue, I don't know what it is. It just attracts every fuzzy you could imagine. All right, I'll let that set for just a second. Hold it. And again, this is all going to be covered up, so we're not going to stress about if it's ugly or not. I am going to trim a little bit of this because it just creates so much bulk for me. So, all right, more glue, y'all. Okay, let me get this. Some glue there. We'll hold this in place, and then I'll be able to trim some of that off where there's no glue, and that'll be just fine. It's very forgiving because all you got to do is just tuck things in, trim it off after it's glued down, and then it's going to be covered up so neatly, it'll look like a pretty little package. So, all right, let those dry. All right, guys, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish covering everything in the sweater fabric. I need to go interface some more sweater fabric. And then once I come back, we'll finish the couch, and then I'll show you how I made the pattern for the chair, because I made that just on my own, out of my brain. And yeah, it definitely can get better as you practice. That was really my first go at it, and I just went for it and just did it. It could be a lot better, but I don't think it's too bad. I think it's pretty good, actually. But I'll show you how I did that. I also, if you remember, I hauled this a while back from Cindy's Minis. This is going to go under the pass-through for the kitchen, on the kitchen wall. So I have painted it. I've got the drawers here. I think it matches pretty nicely, y'all. I know there's a little bit more red undertone to this table here, and in my lights it does look very red, but it's really not. They are almost a good match, so I'm very happy with this. This will be on one side of the room, this will be on the other, so I'm not going to stress too much about it. But all I did was paint this with acrylic paint, literally straight out of the bottle. I happened to have a color that was really nice, so this is dark chocolate, and I felt like it worked really well as like a walnut type look to it. So I'm just going to go with that. And paint this. I am going to, because these tend to have a little bit of shine to them. If you notice on the table, it's got a little bit of a shine. So I am going to coat this in a finish so that it just looks a little nicer instead of so flat and matte, because I feel like these tables were very shiny back in the 1950s. So, so let me finish the couch and I will be right back, friends. Thank you. All right, friends, here is our couch. I still just feel like I'm not happy with these. I want to try putting one together and then covering it. I think the fabric just makes all the pieces so bulky. I did cover the cardstock with paper to put here, and let me see if I can show you the bottom. Now what I'm going to do, it does have lots of fuzzies. I'm still trying to clean up fuzzies. Where you see the white paper, I have just been taking a little gray marker and coloring over that, and it hides the white paper just fine. But because I chose to trim it all to the size of the paper, it didn't add any bulk underneath because it was very bulky. And y'all, I found even when I used, and I did use hot glue to glue this together, I'm not sure that I enjoyed that part either. So I did put a little doggy there because, you know, they had a little Fred. I have not decided on feet yet for the couch. I had those small ones. I don't know what I did with them, but I have these here. I just don't think they're the right thing for the couch. I'm not sure, y'all. What do you think? Tell me what you think down in the comments. If I need like a square, chunky, like I could just cut off a piece of a little dowel, a square dowel, and see, I don't know. I just don't think those are the right size for the couch. So I really am not thinking that that's going to work. Now, I did finish, I've got this piece painted. I do have to put on the drawer pulls, which are right here. Those will probably be a little tricky because I painted over the holes. So yeah, I have an awl somewhere, you know, just a little pointed doohickey. I don't know what they're, you know, they're just called an awl. That's all I know. So let's see if it'll go in, but I may have to get the awl out and, yeah, I've painted those closed. So that will have to wait, but this is going to go under the pass-through, like I said, right over here. I'll get that one finished and taken care of before next week's video. So let's talk a little bit about how I did the chair, y'all. So it is all foam core, a little cushioning from the batting, and fabric, and that's it. And then the feet, I did put those feet on the bottom of this chair. I did wrap this piece of cardstock because this fabric was a lot thinner, so it didn't add any bulk to it when I did that. I folded these edges in and wrapped them around here so that I wouldn't have an exposed edge there, because this fabric, it does fray a little bit. But again, it's going to be sitting. I think I'm going to make a little pillow for that chair. So something like this, you know, it just makes it look a little nicer. Excuse me. So what I did for the arms, y'all, and don't laugh because, yeah, I drew this and then I cut it out, okay? Then I stacked it, and I think I did 6 for that chair. 5 or 6. So I just stacked it on top. Now this one's shorter than what I did because I told y'all I did too tall of one for that chair. I should have done a little shorter. But then I just stacked it so they'd all be the same. Then I glued them on top of each other until I had a tall, you know, this is all those little things glued together. So they're stacked on top of each other, glued. I sanded it down a little bit so they would be more even because they were a little wonky when I did that. They weren't perfect, and then what I did to get the opposite side, I just flipped this one over and drew 5 more, you know, so that they would be very similar, and then we'd have a little symmetry, you know. You don't want one great bigger than the other. You absolutely could find a picture of something like this and trace it if you're not happy with your drawing skills. I mean, clearly, I could use some drawing lessons because, you know, I just drew what I thought the shape was and cut it out with a very sharp X-Acto knife. So I made sure to get a new blade and absolutely cut this with a brand new blade. I glued those all together. I cut this is 2 pieces of foam core and some batting on here, then 1 more piece of foam core here to make it look more like a chair. And then this back piece. So what I did for that was I cut, I drew half of it. I didn't try to draw the whole thing, and now I can't pick it up off the table, y'all. I drew half of it. I cut that out, laid it down, mirrored it so that it would be the same on both sides, and I just taped it together. I'm not sure I'm happy with that shape, but it worked for what I needed it to work for. And then I just drew it on the foam core and cut it out again with a very sharp blade. So that is what I have accomplished today. I don't know. I was going to do another chair, but I'm not sure yet because I'm just not sure. If I do one, I'll do it here. And I'm wanting to do a wingback chair. I know they didn't typically have a wingback chair in their living room, but I just love wingback chairs. I had such a beautiful wingback chair one time. It was white. Oh my gosh, y'all, it was beautiful. It was so comfy. So I'm thinking of doing a wingback chair for in here. Y'all will know next week because it'll be a surprise. So that's the progress I've made. Again, not happy with the couch. It works. It serves its purpose. I worry it's a little too chunky. I think it needs to be a little small. I think these need to be a little smaller, but you know, we're going to go with it for right now until I decide that I just don't like it and I'm going to try again. I might shorten it a little bit and again, try to put it all together first and then cover it with fabric and see how that works. Because, you know I can make that work too. We can just do strips of fabric and it will be fine. But let me think on it and I'll see what I decide to do. So that's it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I did find the doorknob. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I did find the doorknob. And I finally got it glued on. I cannot tell y'all how long that took me to hold there to get it glued on. I put it on with super glue and it kept falling off. I have not painted that doorknob yet, but I am going to. I'm going to paint it black and then go over it with silver so that it mimics that knob there, so that they look very similar. After this, we've got to start in with the little knickknacks and stuff around, photo frames on the walls. I need to pick those up, find out where I've got those, put away at, and get ready to do pictures. And guys, and we're just almost to the home stretch of this room, and then we get to start the kitchen, and I am so excited. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. If you like my content, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Thanks, guys.